Joining us now, former Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to Vice President Mike Pence, Olivia Troye. Let's start with the mass deportations. Donald Trump wants to do it. It was part of the Republican platform. There were signs of the RNC, mass deportations. Now, with Tim Homan and Steve Miller in charge of policy on the border and on immigration, what do you expect?
Oh, I absolutely expect that they will go through with their promises. I think this is, the people that voted for Donald Trump in this election, this is what they're getting. And I know Tom Homan and I know Stephen Miller, having worked with both of them. I do anticipate, I think it'll be interesting to see how this power struggle plays out between the border czar, as they are going to call him, and the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State, which all play a role when it comes to immigration. But I think what they're doing here is this is a very clear sign to me that they do intend to go forward with dismantling the Department of Homeland Security. And this is something that Stephen Miller, people like Tom Homan and Ken Cuccinelli wanted. They want to merge Customs and Border Patrol. They want to merge ICE. They want to merge the Office of Refugee Resettlement at the Health and Human Services Department. And guess what? All of these agencies play a role when it came to that child separation policy. And so, look, I think Stephen Miller and Tom Homan are completely aligned. I think Tom Homan has been sort of, I would say, auditioning on Fox News and right-wing networks for the past 4 years for this role. And I think we should expect right out of the gate, right after the inauguration, that you will see this plan rolled out.
Let me play a little bit of, again, Tom, I'm sorry, I keep calling him Tim, Tom Homan from Fox News talking about trying to carry out those mass deportations, even in the face of opposition from some blue states or blue cities.
I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
So how much of this, Olivia, can you say is just hardline rhetoric to message as if they're going to do these ugly things? And I ask this because when family separation got out and when the press started reporting on the details of it, when we saw the anguish of families who were looking for their children, parents who were looking for their children, when we heard that there's that audio of kids crying in a warehouse, crying for their parents, toddlers, really young kids. When that got out, the backlash around the country was really stark. And Donald Trump started to back off the policy, or at least he tried to act as if he was backing off the policy. So I wonder what the desire is to actually do some of the uglier things that would be involved in mass deportation, not just getting out people who have committed crimes, but separating families, maybe in this case, families who have been in this country here for decades upon decades. The parents might have come here illegally, but the kids are citizens.
Like, I think part of this, Katie, is deterrence. That was why they did these things, because it was to create deterrence in the public and in migrants trying to come to this country by doing these, hoping that it would slow it down. And it didn't. It had no impact on that, to be clear. The other thing that I think about in this situation, the reason that I think that they are fully capable of doing the most extreme thing, and that we will see this again, is because now you have a group of people that are all on the same page. In the past, as someone who was in these meetings on child separation, and let me tell you, they were pretty awful. And when lawyers and others raised issues and said, that is unlawful, we are going to get sued, the answer was, we don't care, let them sue us. And so when he says that, the Democratic governors won't stand in their way, they really truly believe that they are above the law. And now you have the people who were in the room before saying, hey, you can't do this, and standing their ground and trying to figure out how we navigated some of the more extreme individuals in these meetings. Those people are gone. They're no longer there. And so now you have these types of personalities that are very driven by these extremes and how they view a strong immigration agenda. And to me, it's really unfortunate because the immigration system does need to be fixed, but I don't think that we are going to get that in a Donald Trump administration. What you're going to get is the child separation policies and the encampments and the things that they have been talking about.
Yeah, Olivia, you were in the room, as you said, know very well what they wanted to do and what they were willing to do to get it done. Olivia Troye, thank you very much. And again, anyone out there who is interested in this topic and what happened last time, my colleague Jacob Soboroff, along with Errol Morris, they've got a great film, a great but difficult film out on child separations and the policy from the last administration. It's out right now, and you should certainly see it going into this next administration.